We're at the mercy of big tech.
Mercy of big tech. That's true. Across the board.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. At the mercy of big tech. That's a statement that I thought I knew what it meant, and now I'm like, it's kind of vague. Big tech.
Right. It becomes an excuse for maybe not doing your best work online.
There we go.
I think that's really what it is.
It's a really nice blanket statement. Big tech.
Big tech got me again.
Got me again. I truly don't know what it means. I have no idea.
Yeah.
What's big tech?
Facebook? You started a pretty heated conversation.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Big tech.
I'm not ready for that right now. Neither of us are ready. We can't.
Your Mrs. Fields dig?
Oh my God. Should we air that on here? I don't want to be shitty on air. But you were right. People didn't take the prompt seriously. But maybe I didn't ask it correctly.
You put out the call, but you didn't get the right response.
Yeah. So guys, yesterday on Instagram, I posted a photo of a Mrs. Fields cookie in stores, and I wrote name a batter bitch or something. And I got shown up real quick. Everyone was like, immediately someone was like Auntie Anne's. I was like, fuck, that is better.
That's the right answer.
Oh my God. Do you remember from college years, Aunt Butchie? Do you remember that?
That's okay. That is a real
It's
sandwich.
Real. I'm not kidding. It might sound like I'm being insensitive. I'm not.
Remember, I know there was one location in the Staten Island Ferry terminal.
That was it. Aunt Butchie's. That was her.
She's probably more iconic.
Name a batter bitch, Aunt Butchie.
Than Mrs. Fields.
We had a field day with that one. We were like, what? This is a real business name?
I wonder if it's still open.
I don't know if it's still open. I didn't think it would still be there. And I think recently I went and it's still there. I'm like, damn, what does she sell?
I mean, it's a great location because there's no other competitive business in the terminal.
Yes, exactly.
So you're
right.
at the mercy
Yeah.
of Aunt Butchie's.
Mm-hmm. You have no choice but to tackle a Butchie sandwich. It's literally like an airplane sandwich, an airport sandwich.
Yeah, it's like Hudson News of the Staten Island Ferry.
I bought a sandwich in June flying back.
In June.
I have to bring this up because we have to play a tiny little guessing game and then we're gonna get into the pod.
Oh, okay.
How much did I spend on a turkey cheese? You're gonna
$13.49. Higher?
You're gonna die. You're gonna fucking die.
$16.50.
Go up.
What?
I know.
$19.25.
It was 18 and change. Don't you want to die? I was like, I want to kill myself right now.
In an airport?
I almost returned it. I was like, can I bring this back? This woman saw me sizing up the sandwiches and she was an excellent salesperson. And she was like, my sandwiches are really good. They're really fresh. You're going to want that.
Yeah.
And she really got me because I was like, yeah, you don't really want to be on a plane starving. I kind of hate that feeling. You feel really sick.
Yeah.
So
and then you're trapped. Especially now, like airplanes, I mean, they've been on a decline in terms of service for a very long time.
Yeah,
but
long
now
time.
during the pandemic, it's been the ultimate excuse not to serve food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They serve you 2 Biscoff cookies. And I'm like, fuck, man.
And that's it.
That's it. And the kicker is I didn't even eat the sandwich, the $18 sandwich. I wasn't hungry.
No.
I just didn't want to be stuck on a plane very hungry, so I bought it.
Yeah, if you didn't have the sandwich, you would have been
starving.
starving out of your mind. You just want it's more like a safety blanket.
It was a total comfort blanket, and this woman, she really knew how to prey on my she really knew how to prey on my fears. She was like, "You're gonna want that." And I was like, "Oh."
I wonder if every day she wakes up and she thinks, "What price can I sell these ham and cheese sandwiches for today?" If I sold it for $18.25 yesterday, I bet I can get $18.50 today.
She could raise it $1 a day, and no one would call. No one would call bull. They'd be like, "That's the price."
Yeah, especially since you don't have repeat customers.
True. Also, I'm never going back there.
You say that, but it doesn't affect her business model.
For Thanksgiving.
She knows that. She knows that already.
For Thanksgiving, I'm like, turkey cranberry. How much? 25? Here you go.
Yeah, she's like, this is a seasonal product.
I almost it took my breath away when I looked at their receipt. I was like, she was like, I know, but they're good. They're fresh. I took you one from the back. I'm like, okay, wow. That mask is like falling below her mouth. I'm like, okay, thanks, babe.
And there's just a certain level of confrontation that you just can't do in airports. So it's like you have to keep your cool at all costs. So
I was like,
it's better to just accept it and move on than to cause a scene in the terminal.
And accept and move on. I did. I was like, thank you so much for my $18 sandwich. I want to go die now. I think it came with a bag of chips, which was also...
Oh, well, that changes things.
Yeah. So the sandwich was like $13.50. Chips are $5.
Good deal.
Good markup. Okay. What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Steven and Chanel, chillin'. We tackled another Halloween-y, like, vibey movie this week.
It's more autumnal.
Autumnal, that's a good word. Mm-hmm.
Halloween light. It's barely Halloween.
Oh, no, barely.
It's more seasonal.
I mean, in that witches are definitely associated with Halloween, this was a good choice, right? Come on.
Right. I think that as society, we like to lump witches in with Halloween, but I think this movie is arguing that they have more broad appeal.
They're multi-seasonal beings. They exist.
Yeah, they're sort of like those 3-season rooms that people have. I don't know what season you're not supposed to use the room for, but they're sort of like that. They're good for a large portion of the year.
Yeah, this movie definitely will have you believing that they live among us. Your friends, your family, your neighbors, witches.
I mean, there's warm weather scenes, there's cold weather scenes, there's spring, fall.
We cover a lot of time in this movie.
Yeah.
Multiple years, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this week we covered practical magic. Don't know about you. I have never seen this before. Have you?
I had seen it before, but
okay.
I did not remember.
Not even a moment.
The plot. And if I did see this...
There might not be a plot.
Well, there's not... You're right. There is not a singular plot. There are 19 plots. But
yeah,
this, I think, definitely hits you differently as an adult.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I'd seen it younger because I could see that. I think younger, I'd be like, fun. And then as an adult,
I think it's fun if you're a kid. But I think as an adult, it's kind of like,
Ooh, it's dark. This movie
got
sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
But you don't like being scared, so...
I don't like being scared, which is why I really liked this movie.
Yeah, this was
because
fine.
It's not scary.
Yep.
At all.
Agree. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we do have some housekeeping. We said if you leave us a 5-star review and write to us, we will read your review on air. So we are not liars.
No.
We are holding true on that promise. So I'll read our latest 5-star comment, and then we can get into it. Sound good?
Yeah, you have to leave them on Apple Podcasts. That's where we aggregate this information. This is sort of like, it's like in school, it's like you have to put your name on the paper, otherwise the teacher isn't going to grade it. So you have to put it in the right spot.
Yeah, you have to put it where we're going to see it. We're not going to go looking. Yeah. We're busy people.
To your personal blog or whatever, you have to put it here.
Yeah, don't Google review it. I don't know if you could. I don't want to see like an Instagram story. Like, no. Put it where it belongs, please.
Yeah, everything has a place.
We take this very seriously. All right.
This one was very nice. And so specific.
Oh, I love it. I know. Son Odavius writes, subject line, great show, exclamation point. 5 stars. Is that 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3. It's 5. Okay. Standard 5.
Standard 5.
Me thinking they like hacked the system for a 6th.
No. Okay. Chanel, Mon is the day. It was Monday.
Oh my God. No, I wrote
The name is...
Odavius.
Yeah, not... Oh my goodness.
I do see, because I see in the one next to it says October 9th, 2021, and then the person's name under it. Yeah, that's the date.
Okay.
I was like, why would they hit enter between their names?
Yeah, they tabbed down.
Hey, son Odavius. Okay, Odavius writes, The Halloween 2018 episode compelled me to do a rewatch of this excellent film. Both of you had great analysis that helped me clear up some questions lingering in my mind since I first watched this movie. Chanel?
I didn't even know we were capable of doing that.
Oh my God, I know. Clearing up questions? Good for us.
Maybe you just threw them out because just got too frustrated. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, I can't get the full review. What's wrong with me?
Okay, I'll read the rest.
You read it because I can't find the full review. It says
cutting it off. Both of you had great analysis that helped me clear up some questions lingering in my mind since I first watched the movie. Maybe in 2018. That's a long time. Mm-hmm. Chanel. Drop the E, but close enough. Chanel, you have a diabolical laugh that sounds like a villain. And I'm here for it. Steven, spelled properly with a PH. The line about being wound up and let out of the box was amazing. I look forward to going back and listening to the previous episodes.
Oh, yay. Go back and listen. Heck yeah. Let us know.
That was very nice.
That was very nice of you. Thank you so much for writing. You should know that every time we get one of these, it's like a giddy little
Christmas morning.
What?
It's
Christmas morning. Like one of us, usually you, it will be like a giddy little screenshot. Like, look what we got.
Yeah, since we're in different time zones, we have different night watch shifts for reviews. So I usually take the early shift.
We do. It's really funny. I'm snoozing and I wake up every morning to a really fun message from Steven. Look.
Right. In the same way that I wake up to some sort of late night message that you sent me that last night was just a photo of different pieces of chocolate that you were thinking about eating. And I think I responded okay. I was like, oh, there they are.
ASMR. Yeah, I was supposed to go see The French Dispatch yesterday, the new Wes Anderson, and I couldn't find parking, so I just left. Do you ever do that? Just left. So horrible, and I couldn't get my reservation back, but oh well.
Oh.
I know, I switched it to tonight. We're going live on YouTube tonight as well. We will plug the pod. We will talk about it. It'll be great. Yeah. Wow. So, practical magic from, I think, 1998, I want to say.
Right.
We'll read the production summary, and then we'll get into it. Okay. Sally, played by Sandra Bullock, and Gillian Owens, who is played by Nicole Kidman, born into a magical family, have mostly avoided witchcraft themselves. But when Gillian's vicious boyfriend, Jimmy Angelov, dies unexpectedly, the Owen sisters give themselves a crash course in hard magic. With policeman Gary Hallett, played by Aidan Quinn, growing suspicious, the girls struggle to resurrect Angelov and unwittingly inject his corpse with an evil spirit that threatens to end their family line. Is that really what happened?
I took that from the internet.
I was about to say, I'm genuinely asking, is that what they did?
I think
he was already evil.
The magic was confusing at certain points as to what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you pulled it from online because then I know it's right.
Towards the end, yeah.
No, seriously, because I would be if you came up with this, I would really just be wait, is that what happened?
Maybe. The last part of it was the constant death, reawakening. I sort of lost track where we were.
Yeah, I think what I'm taking issue with is they unwittingly inject his corpse with an evil spirit, which I get. They do bring him back and he becomes sort of the undead. But I'm wasn't he already kind of evil?
He was evil, but when he wakes up on the kitchen table again, I think that he's a little more intense.
Yeah, it got turned up to an 11.
Yeah, something got crossed and he was acting up a little bit.
Just a little. Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Man, this movie, I loved it for the 1998 of it all. I just really am enjoying that fashion again.
I thought they looked great, especially Nicole's
really good
pool outfits and her skirts that she was always flowing in and out, and a tank top, a tight fitted tank with a flowy skirt.
Yeah.
I thought it looked very LuLaRoe, actually.
It actually did. I wanted to say I want so much more of this for Nicole. I want more cool aunt energy from her. That was awesome. Just
Right.
the little, like, the sunglasses indoors, the little tiny little 90s sunglasses. Oh my God. And that red hair and
She
the
was
bang.
very cool.
She looked, I mean, they both looked amazing in this. So good.
Right.
Yeah. So we start the movie.
We start the movie in Salem with a witch.
Yes.
Who's being hanged. And
Strong.
what I liked about the intro was that right off the top, you don't really know what direction the tone is going to be in. But I did chuckle a little bit because as they're giving this very serious narration and you see them putting like the noose over the woman's head, they twinkle over their names like Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, like right next to the woman as they're like tightening the noose.
I know.
It was very like
I know. I think if anything, the music was telling me it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It was like very twinkly and just light.
The background soundtrack, not like the actual music of the day, but the background soundtrack was very like light and bright.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we're like kind of in the world of like a Hocus Pocus, you know?
Right.
I was like, I can chill.
Yeah, but and this is something I may be revealing too much about myself, but like I'm not like a Hocus Pocus.
I'm not a Hocus Pocus head either.
No.
I don't care about it, and I have barely seen it all the way through. Truly. I'm dead serious.
So I was ready for a different Halloween energy than Hocus Pocus, and I think that this movie scratched that itch.
Yeah, it was very adult.
Well, you know what it was? It was very practical. And I mean that I know it's in the title, so it sounds like I'm being fresh, but what I'm trying to say is, okay.
You're bad.
You know what I mean? For anybody that watches QVC, around the holidays, they sell Christmas gifts 24/7, right? Like anything that you could normally buy on QVC could become a Christmas gift because you could just buy the sheets and give them to somebody else. And they structure their programming with like, you know, gifts for the chef, gifts for kids, whatever. And then they always have an hour, and I'm sure this is low rated, but they have an hour called Practical Presents, which is just like things that do things that you just give people. Like slicers.
Like an everyday?
Yeah.
Is it every day?
Yeah, like slicers, hangers, sheets, towels. Not the most exciting things, but items nonetheless that make people's lives easier.
Yeah, items I would love to receive, by the way, because I hate having to buy that shit. I think it should be free.
No.
It's so annoying.
Towels.
It's just like
toilet paper.
Yeah, like
laundry
when you
detergent.
when you run out of something like that, I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
That's
I hate
right.
being an adult.
It's like when you move into a new apartment and your parents get you like starter cleaning supplies, but you know immediately that once they run out, they're never going to be replenished.
I'm not buying new. That's happened multiple times.
Because it's like I'm not going to go spend money on like scrubbing bubbles. I'm going to just like
I'm just going to wing it with some water.
Just keep adding water into the bottle and hoping that it just dilutes it to the point where it still continues to work.
Yeah, we have a container of Fantastic, which is great, by the way, that's just like on its last legs. And it's been on its last legs for a very long time.
Months.
Months.
Yeah, but I think that
so
what
practical.
I like, it's practical and like there for a movie with, now the other word in the title is magic. We've been spending a lot of time talking about practical, but the other word is magic. There's two words. And the magic in the movie is pretty light. There's not a lot of magic. Like,
yeah, there's barely any. There's just like
barely any. The majority of the magic, if you total up the screen time, is their ability to stir tea with a coffee stirrer on its own.
Yes.
That's basically the main spell that they employ.
I know, and speaking of, very few spells. I would have liked to have seen a lot more.
Like, even when they make their margaritas, they don't even give it a wink and a point to turn the blender on.
That would have been awesome. They just push a button. Like a commoner.
Right.
Like
like anybody else.
Stupid commoner like us.
Right.
I was looking
garden
for...
on their own. They make their food. They make their food on their own.
Yeah, and this movie had budget for all that. So what gives?
Right. There's no finger point magic.
I was looking for that. I wanted some like Weasley stuff. You're a Harry Potter head, right? Like I wanted some Molly Weasley knitting needles going in the corner.
No, like scrunching of their nose magic.
Yeah, a little bewitched action, which would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm right there with you. The only thing I could think is that they're kind of like in hiding, right? Like the whole town hates them.
I did love the townsfolks.
The town folk. Yeah, I mean, okay, so the prologue of this movie is like setting up a family curse, right? So we're back in like Salem times, we're back in witchy times.
The first 15 minutes move at a blistering pace.
Yes, blink and you miss it.
Yeah, a lot of news right at the top.
Yeah, I just go, Steven's gonna have a field day with this one. We women, the voiceover literally goes, we women have been blamed for everything. Steven's gonna love this movie. We love witches.
Right. It was I guess there's a lot of confusion about Salem.
That's what I wanted to get into. That's what I wanted to get into. Because this movie
that even myself, I'm still a little bit confused about what exactly went down in that small town.
What happened?
What actually happened? Were there
witches or not?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I hope this is like a safe space to ask, but were the witches real?
Were they real or not? Because this movie will have you believe that they were dead, that everyone's suspicions were dead on.
Well, what I think this movie does in the first scene is it breaks this idea that a lot of other movies that deal with Salem witch business do, which is that like the witch in the opening scenes does a magic trick in front of everyone, which they rarely do.
Yeah.
Even think about like Hocus Pocus, like in the first scene where they like they bring the witches out.
I was like, I can't.
And they hang them. They hang them.
Oh, okay.
But there's no magic.
None.
They die. Now their
That's
bodies
most
do.
Salem scenes. Most Salem scenes are like, you're sad for them. You're like, they're not a witch. Don't hang them.
Right. So I was sort of like, wait, she's really a witch.
She actually is. She escapes a hanging in a very like graceful way. She just like ding lands on her feet, and she lands
runs on her feet. The other pilgrims. Do we use that word pilgrims? The other pilgrim.
I don't fucking know.
The only thing I remember about the pilgrims is that, like, I don't know if your teacher made a point to tell you this, but like this was like the breaking news fact when we were in elementary school, was that like, I guess the buckle hadn't been like invented before the pilgrims. So like all like the iconography of like their buckles.
There's a million buckles. You're right.
Yeah. Pilgrims love buckles. And
oh my God.
I guess like it wasn't like a thing yet.
I didn't know this. I didn't know that the buckle hadn't been invented.
I don't know. My fourth grade teacher might have been lying to me.
No, but this is really cool because every time I used to draw a pilgrim in school, I would put like
you
put a dumb buckle on their fucking hat.
Like,
and you don't need a buckle on a hat.
You don't need a buckle on a hat. It's actually one thing that you don't need a buckle on.
Yeah, precisely. You can put a buckle nearly anywhere else.
Right.
Wrists.
Yeah, if anything. So if anything, like they looked like the townspeople looked very witchy, but when she escapes the noose, they scatter. And
they're like, oh my God, she is a witch. And literally I'm like, okay, wow.
Okay, noted. So then they leave her on an island, and she's also pregnant. She's with child.
We just like kind of like glaze over that, but that's cool. Yeah, she's pregnant. She's waiting for her partner to come through. He never does.
Right. And
sad.
It's sort of like which partner, because as the narration also implies, she's had a few dalliances in the town.
Do they say that?
Yes.
They do say that?
Yeah. Well, I think they imply that there is one specific partner, but
that's what I'm saying. I thought it was like a true love scenario. She's with child. The true love doesn't come through. Curse.
Right. With this child there was, but they had also said that like she
lives fast and loose.
Fast, and especially for the time.
Yeah. If we're going to stereotype women as witches, we should also stereotype them as fast and loose.
Right.
We should just add that to the list.
Yeah. The movie is a very specific brand of feminism.
Yeah. In that there's like a ton of female cast and they have a ton to do, and they're like, give almost nothing to the boys, and I'm like, good.
That's what I guess we'll get to it as we get to it. But my major gripe with the movie was the need to shoehorn a relationship in the final third of the movie. It just like,
oh yeah,
didn't need it.
Structurally, this movie makes me laugh. It's so funny. It's like they spend a lot of time in the beginning. They spend a lot of time separate. They don't do like the main event doesn't happen until like minute 47.
Right.
It's pretty funny.
Okay. I found myself constantly pausing the movie to see where we are time-wise. Because it was moving at a very bizarre pace.
The pacing was super bizarre. Like, we're moviegoers. You can kind of guess where you're at. You're like, okay, we've just been introduced to the problem. We're probably minute 25, 30. Like, you go check. No. It's like minute 47. Like, everything was like a little bit delayed. All right. It was fun. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so end of prologue, there's like a curse on the Owens family that anyone who falls in love, the husband will die. Right? The man will die.
The man will die, and there's a little beetle that comes around to give you a little warning that the man is about to die.
Exactly right. So then we cut to like sort of modern day, and we see baby Sally and Jilly, which is baby Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. And
it got the better of their father. Thus their mother also dies of a broken heart. Sad. Sad. So sad.
I wish she had been stronger.
Yeah. Women need to step up. Guys, we are so kidding. We're treading tread lightly. We're totally kidding. Lest you forget, I'm a woman.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Are you cringing?
Yes.
So, okay, I just want to cut straight to the two of them in pigtails walking up to their aunt's house. Boom. Okay. They are now entrusted to their kooky aunts.
They're kooky aunts, and they are played by Stockard Channing, who I love from every role except Grease.
I was going to ask you how you feel about Stockard. I love her.
And Diane Wiest. And the house is beautiful. I love this house.
Did you feel like this was Nancy Meyers meets witches? I did.
It was, except I feel like Nancy Meyers would have had them clean up a little bit. It was a little messy, a little dusty inside.
Okay, fair.
Outside, it was very Nancy Meyers. Inside, it needed a little pick-me-up.
Okay.
Especially the kitchen.
Totally fair.
But otherwise, I think it worked.
I wrote down, this is like Sabrina, the teenaged witch. They're just, the two of them are with their fun aunts. I love the aunts.
They were nice. I'll tell you this. I wouldn't want to live in this family.
Oh, really? Why?
Ice cream for breakfast, not doing your homework,
oh my God.
Structure. These are things that I would hate.
I know you do love structure. I have to bring up right here that my mom used to let my sister eat ice cream for breakfast because my sister was really picky growing up. And my mom used to go in her best Long Island accent. She used to go, "What? It has milk in it." Isn't that so good?
I was like, the lack of structure in this home is too much for me to handle.
Mm-hmm. I would have loved it. Sign me up.
Well, but it seemed like a fun place to grow up. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, let me keep reminding you, this movie's sad. Okay, they just lost like their father and their mother. So the aunts are like, they're like, come on, it's gonna be fun here. You're gonna be great. It seems like they are growing up just fine. At least they're loved. It's like a sweet little family, and the girls like are dancing around and they do little love spells and try to That was so cute. She puts together the list of like her ideal man, baby Sandra Bullock, baby Sally. Mm-hmm. And he has one blue eye and one green. And he can flip pancakes in the sky. Cute.
Very cute.
Cut to, they grow up and they're like still giggling. Like it's very like Jane Austen, like giggly. And I just wrote, how old are these biddies? They're like 35 now. Stop laughing.
when it does become mature, and I mean, I don't know, like, you're right, I don't know how old they are, but when it's actually Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, it is a little confusing as to how old they are, because they're trying to make them look younger.
They are, yeah. They really are.
Because these women will continue to age as the movie goes on, but it's obviously the same person. But it's like they shove these glasses like right into Sandra Bullock's eyes, and they like have her like wear her hair like scraggly in front of her face.
Kind of like, like over her eyes, so like you can't really tell.
Yeah,
I'm like, were they implying maybe that they're like 18 at this point?
I think so.
Okay, because I was like,
I think just finished high school or something like that.
Yeah, I looked on IMDb. I was like, they're 34. What are you still doing here?
They looked older.
Yeah. I can't figure out why, like, they're not that much older than we are currently. And I'm just like, why do I feel like they're so much older? I don't know. They just look like they've lived.
They're movie stars, number one.
Yeah, movie stars. They're like not human. And I feel like having money makes you seem older. Does that make sense?
Money is the best moisturizer.
Yeah.
So they look great. And this is like, they clearly were trying to, I don't know what they were doing with the hair color, but I feel like what they were trying to do is that like any woman could fit this, whether you have dark hair or light hair. You could be one of the girls.
I want to talk about this. The playing of the opposites in this movie is so like 90s, early 2000s. It's like, look, one has brown hair, one has red hair. One's like a stick in the mud, like, hey, I like rules. I'm not going to fall in love. And the other one's like moving out with her like boyfriends and like dancing by poolside and like dressing all sexy.
Imagine if like the conversations that they have with like the aunts with the girls. It's like if your mom sat you and your sisters down and was like, Chanel is smart. She's the smart one. You have other gifts.
You'll get there. That's kind of what they're like.
Yeah. But they were also Sally. they were also sort of saying that like Nicole Kidman was hotter.
Yeah.
Like they were also reminding Sandra Bullock that.
Yep. Every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
Sandra Bullock getting like left behind as like Nicole Kidman like skips off with like a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I know where we're at, Hollywood.
But before she leaves, they do that like blood sister pact.
Mm-hmm. That's what yeah.
Did you ever have a school assembly where they told you not to do that? We had those.
I don't think we had a full assembly on it, but I remember
it was definitely a part of like health class for us.
It was like, it was a health class, like little talk that day about don't do that. And I remember like,
I didn't know anyone that did that.
I knew 0 people who did it, but I do remember it being talked about. And I do remember thinking like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm too scared. I'm definitely too scared to do it. And I won't, but like.
Especially now.
Especially now, but like imagine this would be the fantasy. I would sit there and be like, imagine I was the type of person that did that. I'd be cool.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I think like the blood sister talk that like we got in school was very much like a generation before trying to correct its mistakes. Mm-hmm. And like they were constantly like, don't do this. And everybody was like, no one does this.
We're not like we weren't even thinking about it. You're right. It's like the lessons are from generations past are often delayed. So they're assuming it's on our mind. So they're like, we better nip this in the bud quick before they start doing it like left, right, center. And we weren't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it until I saw the movie My Girl. And they do it with like they just do like a drop and a drop on their fingertips and they go like this.
Well, that's normally what it looks like. This was too big of a gash. This was like cutting open your palm.
Anytime someone cuts open a palm in TV, in movies, I'm like, fucking ow. How are you making this look so easy?
I mean, to cut your palm there, okay, you do a prick on your finger, that'll heal. This, fine. I mean, look at my palm right now. I'm going to do a demonstration.
Yeah,
you open it and you close it, right?
Yeah.
Ow, that's ow 24/7.
That I don't know how that heals.
Thank you for doing that. That was helpful because I couldn't see it when I did it.
I wanted to show you. I don't know how that heals. I don't know how you look at your own palm and cut it.
Like a huge cut.
I feel like you have like a system override in your brain that's like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I don't think I could cut myself. I really don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, not for these purposes.
Not for a blood oath with my sister. Sorry. Sorry, babe. But I'm just going to have to trust that you'll come back without the blood oath. But I think the blood oath is necessary for the plot later. But
it is. But what's really funny is that Nicole Kidman, okay, so she does the blood oath and then she
skips off with a man.
Skips off with a man to go to LA, but she doesn't quite make it to LA.
I know.
She makes it to sunny
Arizona, right?
No, Orlando.
That was Orlando? Are you kidding me?
No, that was Orlando. That's where she met the guy.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't really paying attention.
It was just like funny that like of all the places to end up,
Orlando,
Florida.
Yeah. Yep. Good shorthand in this movie. Orlando. You're like, cool. That's a cool spot.
They made it look kind of glamorous though when she was at that pool part. Yeah. Nicole Kidman really is on spring break the whole movie.
I think that, okay, so this is our first foray for our pod into Nicole as movie star. Yeah. And she's like hitting the notes. She's hitting what she does best, which is like beautiful seductress. That's like kind of what we think of. That's the shorthand with Nicole Kidman. And the shorthand with Sandra Bullock is uptight. It is.
And kind of a nerd.
And like a nerd, yeah, because we saw that with Miss Congeniality, and like we'll see it again with The Proposal. She's like really uptight and just like business, all business. And the production knew this. They were like, let's get those two bitches.
Yeah, they were definitely playing into the perceptions of who these two women were outside of the movie and relying on that shorthand because they're both like equally stunning, and it's not like
they could have traded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like Sandra Bullock is like some pig in this movie. She looks great, and it's like
so beautiful in this.
And it's like, but because of the shorthand we know about them, we're able to separate them, and Sandra Bullock can live in like a more serious world, and Nicole can soak up the sun in sunny Orlando. At a pool party.
That she does, friends. That she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, they're kind of like leading their separate lives. And like Sandra is very much like the kid that was like left behind. And Nicole is like living it up. And I feel really bad for Sandra Bullock at this point. Sally.
I felt bad, but I also loved the town. And I
wanted to see that town.
I loved that they would walk around the town and like pick up their mail. And
it was gorgeous. I was like, where are we?
The aunts dress in a very like Victorian style of clothing that I loved.
It was so classic and chic and love.
It was classic, but like they also to me screamed old money, which I love. Like
you do love.
I love old money. So like this, I like. What the women in this movie never do is they never go to work, right? There's no job, there's no bank, there's no nothing.
I really appreciate that.
I appreciated that.
I don't want to see any jobs.
I don't want to see any jobs. Well, okay, I take that back. Sandra Bullock does try to open up like some sort of like an apothecary that sells. Sure, it's very on brand, but it seems like, and this is to all the apothecary owners, it seems pretty light, the amount of work. She's sort of just putting bottles on shelves and you never really
see her brewing anything.
Bossing Margot Martindale around. So there's not a lot to do there. But the aunts certainly never go to work. And
certainly not.
There's never a plot point where the two aunts are sitting at their dining room table crunching numbers, being like,
bills,
"Oh,
bills."
Bill, yeah, they don't sing that song from Destiny's Child. Money is not a concern.
I love that. Take it off my plate. I don't want to think about it.
I didn't want to think about it at all.
That's where the old money does make sense too. Like you just get the sense that they've been around for hundreds of years.
They've been around, and they have money, and I enjoyed that.
Totally enjoyed. Yeah, and then, okay, I do have a lot of questions in this movie. Maybe you can help me, maybe you can't.
Sure.
Did the aunts put a spell on Sandra Bullock, to fall in love with that first guy? They imply that they do.
Yeah, I think It's either that they put a spell on her or they put a spell on him.
Yeah, because they connect.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
Because as they're walking from the post office and Sandra Bullock sees this guy, they walk under a tree, and as they're walking under the tree, the leaves kind of do like a Colors of the Wind dance as they flutter down. And then she locks eyes with this apple grocer, and they're off to the races.
Yeah, and he says 0 things in this movie. Nothing.
Well, what's funny about him is that he's introduced at minute, 9, and by minute 13, he's dead. Spoiler. I didn't remember this at all.
I saw it coming, though. Right? You?
I know. I should have seen it coming. But I didn't. And it really did catch me off guard.
You took the ride with this one.
No, when I heard the beetle, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
But I just thought, wow, there's kids involved.
Yeah, they're in this deep.
We're in deep. They have their own home, it looks like.
Yeah, she was very happy. They had their own life. And then she hears the beetle. And I took the ride in that moment too. I'm like, please find the beetle. I'm like, kill it. But that's not going to help because there's a curse on you guys.
And she ruins the flooring.
Did you love the little fake out? Like, you think he's going to die by like bike stampede. And then
yeah, when the Tour de France comes through. And like, what's funny about this town is there's essentially one street. And this street is a buzz with action in every scene. Cars, bicycles, apples, like all this kind of stuff.
I love a Main Street. Main Street is like my favorite.
You're right, but he's trying to cross the street and a bicycle stampede comes through.
And you're like, oh no, this is his time. Like, he's gonna die right now.
And someone's like, apple guy. And he looks and he sees the bikes and he freezes.
And they all dodge him.
We take a collective sigh. He turns around, like gives a bow to the audience to be like, thank you. I just did that. And before he can turn around, he gets run over by a truck. Which laughing. Is just so strange.
We're laughing not because it's like a funny thing. We're laughing because like that's what the movie wants you to do. Like the quirky music is still kicking on.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's funny.
A comedy. Like there's still being like, this is a comedy. I think
it's funny because it's just really unrealistic. Like imagine the smallest town you could imagine with only one street and someone getting run over on that street.
The one street. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It's funny. It's like we saw it coming. You're not shocked. You're like, okay, this is what has to happen. There's a curse on these men. So the
best part about this romance though was the beginning where as soon as she locks eyes with him, the movie cuts the original score and starts playing This Kiss.
This was so good.
By Faith Hill.
So good. She's like in the garden.
Like so loudly. The music is like thumping from the movie.
I think that they were giving a whole wink, wink, nod, nod to like modern witchy women as well. Because the soundtrack was a lot of witchy, like strong, powerful female artists.
Stevie Nicks,
Joni Mitchell. I died when I heard This Kiss. Sally's in her garden and it just kind of like kicks on in the background. He's like in his like apple cart. I don't know. And then they run together for this kiss. And I was like, ugh.
I feel like
I loved it.
We don't get these scenes anymore because
it's very like of this time.
It's very of this time. And I think like people today, like when they're making movies, they're like, oh, I would never in a song where two characters are kissing use the song This Kiss.
No, I want it.
But I'm like, you should.
You definitely should.
You should. It should be a law because
I'd make it a law.
It actually added to it in a natural way.
I loved it. I was beyond giddy. I was like, yes, this kiss.
But he's dead.
He dies. He's
dead.
Moving on. Sandra Bullock she's never off. She's never given a bad performance. I'll just like qualify there. But I think she's just like doing really great work. As always, it's super emotional. I feel so terrible for her. That's like the first point where I write, this movie's sad. It's frowny sad. Face. She is gutted to lose him, the father of her 2 grown children.
Yeah, they're like not babies.
Yeah, they're not babies anymore.
They are children. And I guess she sends some sort of message psychically
to the aunts.
No, to Nicole Kidman.
No, Nicole Kidman sends a message psychically to her.
No, because Nicole Kidman comes back.
Oh, yeah. She does. That was actually really confusing. She comes back like once for that visit.
Yeah.
And then goes away again, and then Sally has to go rescue her the second time. I thought this was I thought we were at the rescue point. We're not.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Nicole Kidman comes back.
Yeah,
they lead you to believe
they can like telepathically communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And they do come back. It's really sweet. They have a really strong sisterly connection because that blood oath.
That's right.
I loved that the Sandra Bullock's daughters mirrored them too. That was so cute. The brown hair, red hair of it all. I'm so in.
It was cute.
I love the playing with the opposites, the wild versus boring, the redhead versus the brown hair. Okay. Question number 2 of the movie. Question number 1 was, did the ants put the curse on that? Did they make them fall in love? Question number 2 of the movie is, does the town know they're witches or not? Or is it just like suspected and they just hate them for it?
I don't know, because every time they emerge in public, which seems to be something they do every day, people like run away from them or shun them or yell obscenities at them. But it seems like something they could really have just put to rest.
Yeah. So I guess it's just like a rumor in town, and they're like, stay away from them, they're witches.
Yeah.
But no one knows for sure because no one's seen them do the stir thing with with like a coffee stirrer. Yeah,
they don't make their presence known in terms of like what they can do, because whenever they're in public, they don't perform magic. Like even when they're in their gardening, they don't do any magic. They just harvest.
Yeah, okay. So that was my question. I wasn't sure, but they're making like a strong point to like isolate them and be like, these are witches. Stay away. So they kind of live in their own world in that beautiful, beautiful house. And then I guess we can cut ahead to like the main event, right? Where Nicole telepathically, Sandra Bullock gets like the bat signal from her sister. She's in trouble. But the call comes in and she goes, it's Jilly, picks it up. And she rushes.
It's a real call.
Then it's a real phone call.
Yeah.
Again, great opportunity to use magic, and they undercut it with an actual phone call as well.
That's funny.
That was very funny. And Sandra Bullock runs to Arizona to rescue Nicole Kidman from like an abusive relationship.
Yeah, with this guy from Transylvania who now lives in Florida, and they're driving.
No, this was definitely Arizona.
No, I know, but they're on a road trip. They were driving around.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay, question number 3. Jimmy Angelov. Are we supposed to believe he's like some sort of like vampire? Because he's from
That's what I thought they were going.
Transylvania or something.
That's what I thought they were going with.
But
like,
no.
But no. I think he's just bad.
He's just bad, and he's just from there. He's just from that region.
Yeah.
Agree. Okay, I'm with you. So Sandra does end up rescuing her, and that's where the movie's kind of like really seriously scary, like in real life scary. Abusive relationship stuff.
The abusive relationship was scary. When Sandra Bullock gets trapped in the car with them, that was scary. That whole scene was really tense.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
As they were trying to figure out how to dispose of him, they don't want to kill him. I think their original plan was to just like sedate him.
Yeah, with that special witchy herb that Nicole Kidman had been using the whole time to get him to just like pass out.
Right. But they give
Sandy ODs him.
Sandy ODs him. And there's like a physical struggle, and it's like it was kind of strange. Or they seemed a little bit confused whether they killed him or if he like hit himself or something like that, but he's down.
Yeah, no, he's done. And then they have the bright idea to bring him back. I
would have just dumped the body.
Just dump the body. He's bad news.
He's bad.
Then we have like no movie.
Yeah, just like, okay, they're in his car, which we find out, like, they end up taking his car because the detective later on was like, that's the missing guy's car in your driveway. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are
I was
full
like,
of,
you guys
know
didn't
what.
ditch that?
So, like, just leave him in the front seat of the car, put the little tequila bottle in his lap, and walk away.
We know how to stage a scene. We're witches.
That seemed pretty easy to me.
Yeah, it just seemed like I guess this kind of fit with Nicole Kidman's character. Like, she has a lot of bad ideas. She's like, we got to bring them back. You know that, like, friend that's like a bad influence that has like bad ideas? That's kind of what they were going for, which is that makes it kind of funny again.
Yeah.
We go back from really scary and sad to funny.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of like they create their own problem.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need to do this.
But I did want to see it. I did want to see it.
I mean, it makes for a better movie because we still have 40 minutes left.
We have a long time. We have quite a while left.
We have a lot to kill.
Yeah, to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved this. I wanted to see that spell. Ever since we found out Sandra Bullock's first husband passed away, I wanted to see the resurrection spell.
Right.
I guess we'll call it. So then they do it. Not enough hijinks for Sandra Bullock. We know she's so good at her like pratfalls and being funny.
Right.
And at one point they have to stick like needles in his like eyeballs, and she's like, no. And I just wanted more of that energy from Sandra.
Yeah, like there was a great where they have to like draw like a diamond or something on his chest, and they only have whipped cream. Like there was a funny
the star,
but it was chest. Like it didn't go all the way through. Like it would have, like what I would have loved to have seen is her draw the shape on his chest and then open her mouth and then like do a little whipped cream squirt into her mouth.
She kind of like dips her finger in and like licks some. I just wrote like comedy. This was like a section for like more comedy.
Right. I think that's the problem. Not a problem, but that's the reality. That's the practicality of straddling 19 genres. You can't really dive deep into one of them.
Can't go deep into either. Yeah, I think I did read that the director did intend for like a darker cut, something a lot more like sinister, and then the studio was like, no, you need to lighten this up. Mm-hmm. So I think that it was like a push-pull between creatives.
It's hard though when you square domestic violence in the center of the movie. It's hard to like...
It was scary.
You can only make it so light.
Yeah. I'd be interested in the source material too. It's a book, so that's cool.
You know what I mean? Like, if he had been stealing from her or something like that, and then they want to get revenge, that is funny. Like, you can make it funny. But, like, he was, like, abusive physically and mentally.
Yeah.
It was sort of just, like...
Little hard to root for him.
Right. A little hard to be like, oh, get up. It was sort of just
I hope he wakes up.
Yeah. It's like, no, he should probably just stay dead.
Yeah. But Nicole Kidman's character does make a really self-aware point in that moment too. Like Sandra's like, no, he'll come back as something like evil. And like Nicole says something along the lines of like, he's already bad, which is true. It's true. He's bad. And
I do think that the police officer, detective guy does make a good point when he comes to investigate. He's like, it's really not up to you to decide when he's dead. Because Sandra Bullock's like sort of gets on her high horse and she's like, well, he was being abusive. So we decided to, what if he was being abusive and we just had to kill him? He's like, that's not really your call. Like
hey, I don't know if you know, we have something called the law.
Yeah. He was like, no.
It took me a second pass through to realize when the cop first comes by, he does say like, we have a victim along the highway branded, blah, 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 leading us to believe that this man had branded someone before and was like bad, which we already know he's bad. But the cop isn't coming through being like, you killed an innocent man. The cop is coming through being like, okay, I get it. He's not the greatest. Jimmy Angelov.
Right. And when he does say that, what I was sort of hoping to hear was that this man was like a serial killer. Because then I would be like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking for an unexcusable reason to murder this man.
Yeah. The violence was enough for me, but I do agree with your earlier point of either if you're going to play in the world of comedy, make him like someone who steals, something lighter. And then if you're going to go this route, which is the route they did, then it's like the comedy is like, oh.
It's hard. It's it's hard.
And it's funny because it isn't all serving what we desperately want from these two, which I did want that whipped cream spell scene. Like I wanted to see that play out.
Right.
Oh, you know what? We know this time and time again. I'm powerless. I'm powerless against a movie star. I just want to see them be funny.
Well, the saving grace of the abusive relationship is that it allows Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock to be in all their scenes together from here on out, which really is the best.
That's what we want. That's what I wanted.
When they're separated for the first essentially 40 minutes of the movie, it's not as engaging as
what a drag.
As when they're together. Like when they go to the PTA meeting.
Oh, I loved that. I would have watched 2 hours of that. I want that movie.
I would have watched that movie. And like Sandra Bullock's sitting there and she's never chosen to be like the PTA queen.
The head of the phone tree.
Head of the phone tree.
I loved this scene.
Nicole Kidman walks in, like looking like Nicole Kidman. And she was like, oh my God, I wrote it down. She was like, oh, hang on to your husband's girl. Like, that was the funniest scene in the movie to me. And
that was so good. So good.
And, well, one thing that I think the movie also sort of, I guess this scene cleared up questions I had, was they sort of suggest or question whether Nicole Kidman has any magical powers or if she has, like, she can actually do magic of substance. And in this
she's just
scene,
not as good.
Because in the previous scenes, she's sort of like, where's my amulet? Like, I don't like this moon color. And then, like, when she has to drug him, she sort of just, like, pours stuff into the tequila, which, like, I mean, anybody could do that. That's not magic.
I could do that.
To drug someone. So, in this scene was sort of like the first scene where she actually does a magic trick, and she edits all the responses so that Sandra Bullock gets to be the head of the PTA call chain.
I loved that. And then like the last line of that scene is, that was me.
That was
which I loved. Yeah, I think what I got was they're just implying that she's just not as good at magic as Sandra Bullock's character is at magic. Right. But I'm like, she's pretty good. She did a great job. She's
pretty good. And they really are just magic tricks. Like, that's really what they do in the movie. They're more tricks. It's practical.
It's just everyday magic.
Yeah. It's very everyday magic.
Yeah.
But I just wish we got more of those types of scenes. So that was like my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, like a whole little segment on even practical jokes using magic would have been fun for me. I just want to see like Nicole Kidman go around town and like slap a butt, and then someone's like, "Hey," and then she's like, "It was me." You know what I mean? Like I just want like jokes, like pranks.
Because then that scene spills over into like the other greatest scene of the movie, where
tequila.
I guess it's midnight. We don't know that, but it's midnight, and Nicole Kidman wakes Sandra Bullock up, so they both hear the buzzer of the blender.
Tap, tap, tap. It's margarita time.
Midnight margaritas.
That little segment was crazy.
It was so nuts. Good. It was so good. And like, again, when you get all four of the characters in the same room together, the movie really shines.
I wanted so much more of that. I want to reunite this cast.
Yeah.
I just want to see them living. I just want to see them live together. That was so fun. We don't have to have any of like the off-screen death creating a zombie boyfriend. No. Just put them in a room and give them some tequila.
And it was a fun scene because they get drunk and they just talk about like fun experiences they had growing up, as opposed to just like talking about some stupid guy, which was helpful.
I loved this scene. They truly made me believe that they're actually getting drunk. They're laughing. They're
great
giddy,
drunk acting.
Slap happy. Oh, yeah. It was fun. I just wrote, no rules in this movie. I can't predict a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know this scene was coming.
Didn't know it was coming. Did you get the sense it was some sort of tradition?
Well, it must have been.
Or
but
like
I was
ritual.
It was just sort of like, okay, if the tradition is midnight margaritas, if we're playing by the rules, they couldn't have been doing this that long. They're not. I mean, were they doing midnight margaritas when the girls were kids?
Brownies and ice cream for breakfast, margaritas at midnight.
Yeah.
They're 9.
It was like maybe it was a recent tradition.
Yeah. I just like at the inception of that scene when they start dancing and they come down for the margaritas, I was like, oh, we're going to get some like witchy potion. They're all going to drink it in a margarita. It's going to be fun. And it's like, no, they were just having regular margaritas.
They're having regular margaritas from what we find out is tequila that was left on the porch. And I guess what we're learning now is that the guy that they brought back to life and then killed again left the tequila there.
Put it there.
But it wasn't.
That's what they wanted you to assume.
It wasn't poisonous tequila because they're fine.
Well, that was the other thing. It had that like herb in it that they used to like kill him. The bell, whatever. The bell something.
But they're fine.
But they didn't die. So immediately after that scene, I was like, oh my God, they're all going to... They're going to have to do some sort of anecdote potion. Like they're going to have to Professor Snape it up.
Antidote.
What did I say? Anecdote? Okay, so they're going to do an antidote. Sorry, God. Everyone at home is like, thank you, Steven. She's fucking stupid.
An anecdote potion.
They had to do an antidote. This movie just kept me guessing constantly. I was like, okay, cool. Now we're going to see Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman come together and do an antidote so they all don't die. And everyone was dead fine.
Everyone was fine. I mean, they're hungover the next day, but they're not in critical medical condition.
Yeah. Now, question number, I don't know at this point. The ants that same night decide they have to leave.
Where?
They just are like, oh, we have to go, remember?
Yeah, but where?
Oh, I don't know. They must have had a summer home.
Yeah, I don't remember where they were going.
They kind of don't say. They just go to the 2 Sandra Bullock's daughters and they're like, we're going to be gone. Tell mom to clean up her own mess. And then they leave. So they kind of like, by their witchy sentences, know something's up. They know that the girls have done something. Yeah. And they're starting to catch on and they just up and leave.
They're like letting them figure it out on their own.
Yeah, that was another confusing moment. I'm like, no, keep them around.
Right.
But okay, they're gone. All right. I have no choice but to accept this plot. So they're gone.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, because you blink and they're kind of back too.
They come back at the right time, at the perfect time. But they leave, and then as soon as they're gone, a new character appears, who is the detective. So we think, well, he is a detective, but it's just sort of just like, what?
What? Why? Who cares?
I mean, when I saw him, I didn't feel the way that Sandra Bullock feels about him.
I know. That is another point where
wasn't doing it for me.
He didn't do it for me either.
Didn't do it for me.
That was like another point where scary. You've killed somebody. A cop is on your tail. Right. Oh my God. And then what the movie is just showing us is Sandra Bullock loves him.
Right away.
I just love him. They did it with like
and
slow
I guess
motion.
Like the point sort of is that like this was a spell that they had put into motion. Like this was essentially like she was going to fall in love with him anyway.
Yeah, she had called him.
But I had forgotten about that. And I just like, I guess this is really a good example of like sometimes things on paper don't always look the same in real life. He just like wasn't what I was expecting based on that sketch that we had.
Based on her bullet points.
This is not,
Yeah.
What is the expression? The parts are greater than the whole. It was sort of like, it didn't work.
Some of the parts was greater than some of the whole. When we saw the whole package, I was like, okay.
Yeah, maybe we need to go to the Apple store. Because we need to get what?
Weird package to have him in. The person who can put you in jail forever if he finds out you murdered somebody. I'm like, okay. All right. I wrote, you could tell me that I could wake up from a fever dream and you could tell me this movie was Hope Floats and I would believe you.
Ooh,
Did you ever see Hope Floats?
No, but now I want to.
The vibes are beyond the same.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
If he is a police, well, okay, I keep saying that he is a detective. His detective skill, he's very unprofessional. Like, he spends a lot of time with them. He sits down for breakfast. Where he's almost killed.
Yeah.
And
he seems to have a real easy time putting aside work for pleasure. Does that make sense?
He does. He shelves this murder investigation
for breakfast.
For breakfast pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's where I would say and then he like gets frustrated with the girls. He's like, just let me remind you two. You guys are on thin ice with me. Thin ice. And I was like, you've been sending really mixed messages. Like you were just having pancakes and having a good time. But now that you're like a little bit frustrated because you saw a toad spit up a ring, which shouldn't even mean anything to you, you're going to lose your mind.
It was Jekyll and Hyde with this man, let me tell you. I was like, you got to pick a lane, man. Either you love her and her family and her children and you want to cook them breakfast every day for the rest of your life, or you're going to put their mother away from murder, but like you got to pick.
Just pick one and let us move on.
I did love that sequence only because it brought us cool Aunt Nicole. She's making the potion with the girls to keep him away.
Yeah.
And they put it in the syrup for the pancake breakfast, and then the girls intercept it and toss it in the lake.
They toss it in the lake.
I was like, okay.
And Sandra Bullock's like, oh, they must have not wanted us to have that syrup. I was like, what?
Truly wanted more laughs in this movie, but that was a good one.
Yeah, like he didn't giggle or laugh at all. It was like look at
these witches.
Yeah.
At that point I wrote, this is quirky.
It is. It was quirky. It was very, again, tonally we're all over the place.
We are all over. Because, okay, so then this next, like as we're wrapping up the movie, there's just segments of like him. Basically, the prophecy is coming true. Like the bullet points that she wrote out, he is becoming that. So his favorite shape is a star, and he's got the star badge. Okay.
Right. Oh, right.
And he can flip pancakes in the air. Who can't, by the way? Sorry. Someone had to say it. Who can't?
And if you can't, just practice on your own, and you'll be good at it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, you don't need a tutorial. You don't need lessons. You'll do it. Get a nonstick pan.
It's pretty intuitive. It's pretty intuitive.
Yeah, a nonstick pan, and just make sure it's cooked, and you're fine.
Yeah.
But he flips pancakes in the air in the shape of a cactus, which I was like, all right, whatever. Weirdo.
So many of them don't get eaten.
Is he a witch?
Oh yeah. Is he a warlock?
Maybe. And then so like things are coming true, and then the one eye, blue eye, one green eye will come later. But okay, so she runs to him to like tell the truth. And he's like,
she sort of starts with like, I might have a friend who might have killed somebody. What would you do in that scenario? And then she drops it and just sort of tells the truth. And he's like, get a lawyer.
Yeah, he's like, we need to pause this recording right now. You need to get a lawyer. But then, wait, am I wrong? They kiss right after this?
Yeah, she's like, I'm not getting a lawyer. And
I want you so bad. She didn't say that.
I forget what she says, but
they're just staring into each other's eyes. He's got her backed against a wall, and then all of a sudden they're
kissy time.
Yeah, smooching. I was like, he takes her to the bed.
Yeah, I did enjoy before this scene where Nicole Kidman was like flirting with him and it wasn't landing. It was pretty funny.
I don't even remember that. Yeah. I was probably eating that chocolate bar that I told you about.
But yeah, like before Nicole Kidman knows that like this guy matches up with who Sandra Bullock was looking for, and she knows he's a detective, she like thinks that she's gonna like flirt her way out of it, but it wasn't landing.
Yeah, hoe it up, get him away. The movie says that, not me.
Right.
I'm not making that up. Yeah. So, but Sandra Bullock like kind of is like, we can't do this. We can't, and she like runs away again. Because she gets another bat signal from her sister. Her sister is unwell. Nicole Kidman has now been possessed by the evil spirit of Jimmy Angelov, right?
Right. When she comes back to the house, the kids are running downstairs screaming.
Mm-hmm. Scary.
As she goes up there, she definitely looks possessed. She doesn't look good.
No. And I love possessed Nicole, I want to say. The straggly hair, the crazy eyes, I'm in. It was so fun.
She did great. I didn't know that he was going to come, which sort of bummed me out. Because as soon as Sandra Bullock gets to the top, he emerges with the gun drawn. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And they restrained her pretty easily, I would say.
Yeah, and then very quickly after that, the ghost of Jimmy kind of like materializes. And everyone's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking. I can't even begin to unpack what the cop thinks. Is he like, this is Jimmy, they're innocent? Or is he like, this is a ghost? Or is he like, this is a zombie? I don't even know. I think what we're finding in this moment of silence is it doesn't entirely matter.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But she's still possessed.
She's still possessed.
They're unsuccessful.
Yeah, but she's pretty easily restrained. They sort of just put her into a chair. Mm-hmm. And
I think at this point the ants are back, right? They come back.
The ants come back, and they're like right in the nick of time. And they decide that they need a little bit more support.
They need a coven. I loved that exposition. We need a coven. 9, but 12 is better. Do you have any friends? Cue PTA phone chain. Loved.
PTA phone chain, thank God. All the women come over with their brooms.
That was so funny.
Someone brings a dustbuster because she doesn't have a broom.
I loved this sequence. We knew where it was heading, but it was just funny. They're doing their little spell in a circle. They got the brooms. And then at one point does somebody go, let's sweep them out or something?
Yeah, well, after they form the circle, they do the spell, they cast her out, they cast the spirit out, and then as like the spirit is like settling nearby, Margot Martindale like leads the charge, and she's like, let's sweep them out, ladies. They all use their brooms to sweep out the dust of the spirit.
That
out the front door,
so
which was
funny.
really cute.
If we're gonna play with any like sort of like witchy female tropey stuff, I love the broom. I love a broom reference. Sweep 'em, ladies. At one point, somebody goes like, through the kitchen, and I'm like, that's right, ladies, through the kitchen. Now I have another question for you. Uh-huh. Where did that pot of like potion water come from? That pot of tomato sauce that they just dump out in the yard? That's kind of how they like wrap it up. They're like, they sweep outside, and then all of a sudden the ants come out with this big cauldron, this big pot.
Oh no, they were making that when the ladies first come over. They were my God. And like Stockard Channing like made a comment. She's like, "This is how it's supposed to smell," because like the women were like,
"Oh, all right, completely forgot about that." So that was just their way of like really cleaning up that portion of their lives. Like,
yeah, because I think it's sort of like when they initially buried the body, he came back. So I guess they needed to do like step 2, which the girls forgot.
Yeah, this is like a closure ceremony.
Yeah.
So they dump that pot on his like grave site, and he's done.
He's
Jimmy
cooked.
is no longer. Yeah. Power because you believe it does. Oh, I wrote down some quotes. I'm like reading my notes right now. She talks about his badge, and she goes, it only has power because you believe it does. It's your amulet. I was like, wow, this is a before its time takedown of modern policing.
Oh.
Your badge only has meaning because you believe it does.
Oh.
You're only important because you believe it.
Oh.
I was like, okay.
Okay. I'm going to have to think about that.
But yeah, so I just, I wanted to know where the potion came from.
Well, now that's cleared up.
Oh my God, when they called the coven together, one of the ladies goes, Sally just came out. I loved that.
It was a really nice bonding moment. And I think what I liked about this scene is that it also sort of suggested that these women in the town might also have a little bit of magic in them.
A little witchiness in them.
Since they're ladies.
Yeah.
And that was sweet.
I can hear some practical magic fans being annoyed at us at this point. the thing that really banishes the spirit from Nicole is the blood oath, right? Like, it's kind of sad and scary again. They're laying on the floor, the two sisters, and Sandra Bullock, Sally, is like, Jilly, stay with me, stay with me. And Jilly's like, no, he wants me. And she's like about to die. And then don't they blood oath, clap hands again. And the past and the present fuse together. And the power of sisterhood saves them, right? That's what
that was nice to see your body convulse as you said sisterhood.
Sisterhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really passionate. For those
it is
listening,
it is about sisterhood for sure.
This is a movie about sisterhood. And I just wrote, the sisters' love releases that curse. Mm-hmm. Truly, where did the potion come from? You've cleared that up for me. Thank you. Yeah, and then that ending scene.
Then it's an ending scene. This is like the really only Halloween reference that we get. Mm-hmm. But everyone in the town comes to the house to watch children dance dangerously high on the home with minimal guardrails. And Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock are up there too in the cheapest witch costumes you've ever seen.
A Party City special.
Truly a Party City special. And
hats as big as their wingspan. Truly.
Yeah. Celebrating being together.
Being together, being women, being out. They're out and proud witches now. The town, it's not a secret anymore.
It's not a secret.
If it ever was a secret, we don't know.
Right. Before, everybody just knew they were witches. Now they know, and they're okay with it.
Yeah. Now they know they're witches.
Right.
But they know.
It's essentially what the movie is it's a critique of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Because
I got that.
Yeah. We see in the early section how that doesn't work.
Nope. No, because they can't be truly themselves.
They can't be themselves.
And you need the power of like that coven to make real change in this town.
Right.
Yeah.
So once they move beyond Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the town of, I guess, I would say about 30 people live in the town. Mm-hmm. They all get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Right.
Saves lives. That was good. That's a really good read on it, honestly.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Because this is a podcast where we really do try to like deep dive. Like we're asking the hard hitting questions. Like we're not doing surface level analysis. And like that
we
works.
like to contextualize the movies with what was going on legislatively at the time. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's really helpful.
Helpful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's with Cop, right? She like Sandra Bullock gets to like retire with Cop, and he goes, curses are. Like, she's like, I can't be with you. And he's like, well, curses are only real if you believe in them. And he's like, and I don't believe in them. He had said that at some point.
Yeah.
So my last and final question is, was this curse ever real on the family?
Yes.
Like, was it only real because they believed in it?
No.
It was real. It was a real curse. And then the curse is broken simultaneously with the blood oath.
Right. I think so.
Well, I can get on board.
In the next scene, he's going to die.
Yeah. Or in the next scene, that beetle comes
and then he's dead.
Sings like a canary.
Yeah. Either way, honestly, even if he does die in the next scene, they'll be fine. They don't really need him.
The movie has told us they will be fine.
They will be fine.
So is the movie score. They'll be fine.
Even if the beetle comes around and kills this detective boyfriend that she's met for 2 hours now, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Well, she knows it's meant to be. She summoned him. He's her one and only. He fits all the bullet point criteria, which could be another win for manifestation. Ladies.
Yeah, she's yeah, ladies, get your secret boards out.
We know women love a vision board.
Yeah. She secreted him and he came to be.
She did. She looked at that list every day and was like, you're coming to me. Manifestation.
Manifestation.
Yeah, happily ever after. I guess this is a rom-com.
It's I don't know what it is. It's a rom-com. It's scary at parts. It's a family drama. It's a coming of age story in some points. It's a witch movie at some points. It's a small business movie. It's a bicycling movie. Oh, what?
It's an apple peddling movie.
Apple movie. It's
like women.
Small town movie. What?
Like women.
Coastal town.
Oh my God! Let me get my. I'm trying to formulate my joke.
Victorian.
This movie is multifaceted, not one dimensional.
Oh.
It is multifaceted, like the women in your life. They are more than one thing.
Oh, yeah. It's sort of like you buy the one Barbie doll, but then you can buy the clothes for the different careers, and it'll fit her, right?
All right, well, you just took my very feminist message and you made it about a Barbie doll, but I guess Barbie's feminist now, so.
She is.
She really is, because they've made her more inclusive.
Yeah, and she can do all those jobs. I saw that documentary,
Tiny Shoulders. Catch it. It's good.
Oh, yeah.
Right after LuLaRoe.
Yeah.
Hit up Tiny Shoulder.
I could see Stockard Channing and Diane Weist's characters becoming LuLaRoe salespeople.
They'd be good at it.
They'd be really good. They would be like the top people. They would be like the district managers.
I mean, we've been dancing around this idea, but I want a sequel. I want these characters back in that house.
I would do a sequel, and I would do a prequel where it's just focusing on Stockard Channing and Diane Weist as they I want to see them buy that house and like
fix it up,
ingratiate themselves in the town.
Yeah.
And I think that this idea of having a movie with like so many different tones is fun. Mm-hmm. I think if they eliminated the domestic violence, it would really just make everybody relax.
Yeah, breathe a little sigh of relief. I want to play in this world again. They did a great job setting up a world. I mean, if this movie existed solely to just introduce us to that world, I'm so in. Yeah. And give me more. I want more.
And I'm just happy that there's an alternative to something like Hocus Pocus or something that's so like so severely Halloween. That if it did feel super refreshing to watch this as opposed to Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. To get like a little seriously analytical for like a hot sec, I loved what this did for witches. It's like, it's not just like camp. It's not just jokey. It's like, no, what if witches were just like your neighbor? They deal with real. I think that must be what the novel's about. Like I don't quote me because I haven't read it, but I feel like this movie served to be like what the premise of what if your neighbors were just witches?
Right.
What if? And then they deal with the regular everyday practicality of being witches.
For these characters, being a witch is almost as unique as having red hair. Like it's almost like on the same level. It doesn't change anything about their characters. Like Sandra Bullock has brown hair and she's also a witch. But like neither characteristic is more defining of her character.
Yeah.
It's just like something about them.
You know how sometimes like modern critique of like movies with an agenda will be like, okay, the character's gay, but it's not all they are. So stop making movies where like that's just it. Like that's the thing. It's like the character can just live their life and also be gay. You know what I'm saying? So by the transitive property, which we love on this channel, it's like being witches is just one part of them.
Yeah.
They're more than that.
Yeah.
And the whole movie doesn't have to be about them being witches. It's about like friendship and sisterhood and living life in this cute little tiny little coastal town of 30, you know? How do we feel about that as like a ribbon tied up?
I think that's right. I think that's right.
I think so. I think I'm usually right.
Oh? Practically speaking, sure.
Practically speaking, I've had to apologize a few times on this channel already, so.
Yeah.
You've made me. Okay. I mean, do you have anything else to add for Practical Magic?
No, I think that's, I think if you're you've had enough of Hocus Pocus, this is a great alternative.
Yes, I do want to leave you with that. Good idea. If you're done, if you're like through with Hocus Pocus, please pick this up.
Right, for sure.
We found it streaming for free online. But we're not going to tell you where because maybe legally that might be an issue.
You can rent it from any of the major streaming providers. YouTube, Amazon.
Don't rent it.
I bought it on Amazon.
Did you?
It was on sale.
Okay. Probably because of the season.
Yeah, it was like $7.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and for the score alone, I've really enjoyed the score. It's the same guy who did Polar Express. How cool.
Oh, that makes sense.
That does, right?
Yeah.
Okay, of course, as always, guys, don't forget to rate, review, 5 stars, please. Why would you put anything other than a 5-star on Apple Pods? You wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I don't even know why it's an option, honestly. If you have feedback, message us or like put it somewhere else, please.
Yeah.
But we know you don't have feedback.
No.
All right. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, Steven.
Bye.